Welcome back to my channel, guys. Nextinfood. I am your diva chef, Simone Walkerberry. Today's tutorial is all about how to make a callaloo loaf. If you don't know what that is, stick around. I'll show you how it is done. Callaloo loaf is a Jamaican thing, and I'm pleased to show you how simple it is. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Also, if you have not yet subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscription button before you get off. So let me show you how simple it is to make callaloo loaf. But first we're going to start with the dough, because that is the difficult part, and I'm going to simplify it for you. So come with me. Alright guys, for our callaloo loaf, these are the ingredients we'll need. We have to make this recipe in two parts. So first we need to make a yeast dough. So we're going to need some all-purpose flour. And to our all-purpose flour, we need to add some yeast. This is instant yeast. It means that you can just add it directly to the dry flour. So we're going to add our yeast in. We also need a little bit of sugar for sweet. So we're going to add some sugar in as well. The sugar adds a hint of sweetness. It's not a sweet bread, but the sugar is important to add to the finished taste of this dish. Salt is also very important, so we need some salt. We're going to add some salt in, and these are the dry ingredients that we will need to complete the bread part of this callaloo loaf that we're making. And so you want to combine that using a wooden spoon into a bowl. If you have a stand mixer with a dough arm, you can feel free to just add this in there and mix it, but I want to simplify it so that you can make this manually at home. So now that our dry ingredients are all mixed in, we now need to add the liquid ingredients, which is going to turn everything into a dough. So for that, we are going to be adding this is coconut milk, and this coconut milk was used by just mixing a sachet of coconut milk powder, or you could have just added the milk powder directly here. So just for more coconut taste, we're adding 1 sachet of milk powder into our dry ingredients, and then we're going to go back to the liquid ingredients. We're adding 1/2 cup of coconut milk. We're going to add 2 tablespoons or so of melted butter. We're going to add an egg. The egg will add some richness. And then we want to add some shortening. The shortening is going to add some lightness to our dough. So I'm adding some shortening in. If you don't have shortening, you can feel free to just add some margarine. And then we are going to just gently mix this into a nice firm dough. And we're doing this manually. So I'm starting with my wooden spoon, just breaking up the egg yolk right there. And just mix it until you feel everything coming together. And I wish you could smell this, guys. It smells like coconut. And just a little fun fact, this is actually a cocoa bread dough, and this is what I use to make the callaloo loaf that I speak of. So a cocoa bread is also a Jamaican thing. It's a Jamaican baked good that is made just like what I'm doing here. So now I'm putting in my hand, get my hand in there. So it's just like making dumpling. You just knead it and knead it and knead it. We want to knead it to develop the gluten, okay? So we want to knead it up just like so into a nice smooth dough. This is what it should look like. At this stage, we are going to cover this, and we're going to allow it to ferment. Fermentation is a process where the yeast acts on the sugar into the starch, and it turns it into carbon dioxide gas and alcohol, and that causes the dough to rise. So fermentation is going to take you anywhere from 40 minutes to 1 hour. You don't want to skip this step. So we're going to leave our dough to chill out and ferment. I'll show you what it looked like when we come back. Okay guys, so now it's time to make our callaloo filling. What is callaloo, you ask? Callaloo is a lovely green vegetable that grows all year round in Jamaica, and this is what it looks like. This one has been cut. In culinary terms, we say this has been chiffonade, so it has been washed and cleaned and cut, and so this is what callaloo looks like. And if you're a Jamaican like me, you can find this all year round at the market or in your favorite green grocery or supermarket. So we need callaloo. We're going to need some seasoning to add some flavor. So we have some chicken bouillon, a little bit of salt, some granulated garlic, and some black pepper. We will also need some onions just to add that nice savory flavor. We need some green bell pepper. I like to add this because I love the taste of bell peppers. And then we are going to need some cheese, but this is added when we're making up the loaf itself. This is 3 types of cheese. This is 2 types of cheddar. We have a sharp cheddar, a mild cheddar, and some mozzarella cheese just to give it that nice stretchy vibe. So let me show you how simple it is to make the callaloo filling. So in a pot, we're going to need about a tablespoon of oil. Then we are going to add our onion, and this is 1 regular onion chopped. And we want to just saute this onion until it is nice and soft, along with our green bell pepper. I'm using green just because I only have green, but it could have been red or yellow, so no worries there. Use what you have. And we want to just sweat this. So to sweat just simply means to release the natural flavors of the vegetables. So sauteing is done on a higher heat, while sweating is done on a lower heat like we're doing here. So we're gently getting the flavors out, and you'll know because you're going to start smelling the beautiful aroma of the pepper and the onion, and then the onions are looking translucent, and that's what we want. So now is a good time for us to add our callaloo. So again, the callaloo is a vegetable, so you want to treat it just like that. It's a green vegetable, so you don't need to cook it for a very long time. So we're actually going to cover it and allow it to reduce in bulk just after I combine all the flavors. So at this time, I'm going to add some chicken bouillon just to add some savory flavor. I'm adding some granulated garlic. All right, and we're just seasoning this to taste. I'm adding some salt and some black pepper. All right, and we combine. And as soon as you add the seasoning, you can just smell the natural aroma of the callaloo. So this is a good time to just cover everything and let it reduce in bulk. I'll show you what it looks like. Look at that, guys. The callaloo has been sauteing for about 2 minutes, and it has drastically reduced in bulk. So now I want to add some dried thyme leaves and some Scotch bonnet pepper. You just add enough pepper to taste, because in this house we love everything spicy, and that's all there is to the callaloo, sauteed callaloo. That's going to act as our filling for our callaloo loaf. How simple was that? So at this time, I'm going to pour it out into my container. Just get it into a container, and we want to allow it to cool completely before we use it as our filling. All right, so just let it hang out and cool. Isn't that beautiful? Our cocoa bread dough that we're using to make our callaloo loaf today has been fermented for an hour. It has doubled in size, and this is what it looks like. It's nice and soft and airy. So I'm going to be doing a little process that we call punching down the dough. What that means is that we are going to release that carbon dioxide gas that forms in the dough during fermentation that causes it to rise. And it's very simple. You just punch it down like this just to get rid of the air. And I'm just going to put it back on our bench and give it a knead just like so. I am making average size loaves, so I'm going to be cutting this into 8 or so pieces. So I'm going to cut it down like that, and then each half I cut in 2. You could weigh this, but this is about 4-ounce dough balls, and we're going to be getting approximately 8 loaves. You can just go with your hand. This one feels a little bit heavier than this one, so you just pinch off a piece and top it up. Now I'm going to just round it like so in a circle, and I'm going to put it on the bench, and this step is called benching. And as I round them, because I'm not weighing it, I'm just going by feel. I can tell if one is bigger than the next, and if it feels a little bit bigger, I pinch a piece off and put it with one that may be a little bit smaller. So we just round it just like how you make dumplings, just like this. Okay, this one is a little bit off. Just round it. We want to put them together. This one feels a little bit big, so I'm going to take a piece off. I'm going to cover these with a tea towel, and I'm going to let them rest for 10 minutes. And then when I come back, we're going to roll them, fill them, put them on our pan, and let them proof. Our dough has been benching for 10 minutes, so now it's time for us to make up and pan our beautiful Callaloo loaf. So first, so this was our first one, so this is the one I'm going to start with. So I'm just going to put this one here, and I'm just going to put this over here, make a little space. All right, and we need a little flour. Put a little flour on our board, just like that. Flour top and bottom. I like to flatten it with my hand, then I use a rolling pin. Put some flour on the rolling pin, and if you're trying to roll it and it's not getting as big as you want it, it means that the dough just needs to relax a little bit more. These, I'm trying to get about a 6-inch or so circle. I'm making these not as big as you buy them at the store, just a little bit smaller. So usually the first one give you a little trouble to roll, but as you roll it, you'll get the knock of it. All right, so this is our first one. I'm so excited to show you guys. So this is how I like to do it. I take some cheese, and remember I told you we're using 3 cheeses: mozzarella, sharp cheddar, and mild cheddar cheese. You can use whatever cheese you like. And then this is our sauteed callaloo. It is completely cool, and I like filling in every bite. So we're putting in like 2 spoons of filling, and then we want to close it just like so. And then you're going to just use your hands and just press it down. It will stick, don't worry. And this is our first Callaloo loaf. If it's not sticking, you can just use some water. I think I might just use some water for the others. Okay, but this is what our first Callaloo loaf looks like. And we're going to put it on our pan. And once you put it on the pan, we have to do a step that we refer to in the bake shop as proofing. Proofing is a continuation of fermentation. Proofing at this point is letting you know that the yeast is still alive and well, and the dough will get a little bit bigger before you put it to bake. So guys, I've decided to just add some water to seal it because I find that they were opening up, so water seals it together. So that little tip for you. And we're going to add the rest of our callaloo. Get it all in. Put some cheese on top. And close the loaf. This is something that you can buy in Jamaica at some restaurants. Some of the patty places will sell a Callaloo Loaf. This is a vegetarian variety for persons who don't want to eat meat every day, but this is something you can also make at home, and you can fill it with whatever you like. The Callaloo loaves have been proofing for 15 minutes until they've doubled in size. Now it's time for me to deck them with a fork. To deck them means to just punch a few holes using the fork. What that does is that during the baking process, the steam that is going to be created by the moisture that exists in the dough needs somewhere to escape. So we deck the loaves in order for the steam to escape. And for color, you can, this part is totally optional. We're going to give them a light egg wash. The egg wash allows the finished baked product to have a nice even sheen on top. And these will be baking at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 to 20 minutes. Are these beautiful, guys? All right, come with me to the oven. I'll show you how that is done.
A few minutes later.
Our Callaloo loaves, they're finally ready. Look at that. Aren't those beautiful? Our Callaloo loaves are baked and ready. So the final step is to just glaze them lightly with some melted butter. And that's all there is to it. Now it's time for us to just enjoy. But before we do, let's take a look inside what they look like. So we're going to put them on our tray. And then I just want to cut into this one so that you guys can see. Look at that. This is an anytime meal. We see our callaloo and we see our cheese. This is going to be absolutely delicious. So, as I always say, Callaloo is getting a moment here on Nextinfood. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below. Share, like. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. I am your diva chef, Simone Walker Barrett.